We're now after last week's general election. The future looks bleak. Another decade of brutal austerity from the most right-wing, reactionary, Tory government in my memory. The sacrifice of our influence, citizenship and future in Europe on a false altar of one-nation conservatism. The terrifying prospect of voter ID for future elections, gerrymandering of constituency boundaries, limiting the ability of the courts to uphold the rule of law by a government that doesn't play by the rules. The Tories plan on locking power at Westminster for themselves for a lot longer than 5 years. Imagine being an EU citizen, immigrant or refugee in England today. What fresh hell will come your way from the half-formed dog-whistle utterances of the Prime Minister? Boris Johnson's Trump-like transmogrification is near completion. Make no mistake, we are at the abyss. When Jo Swinson resigned as leader of the Liberal Democrats last week, she castigated the rise of nationalism across England and Scotland. She was wrong to conflate the increasing xenophobia of Brexiteers in England with the aspiration of those who want Scotland to be independent. Wanting to be the same as any other country across the globe and run your own affairs is the most natural thing ever. I'm not a nationalist. I joined the SNP in early 2017 after many years as an activist in the Labour Party. I had watched the steady and brutal decline of my working-class community from the rise of Thatcher in 1979 and through the 1980s when long-term unemployment became commonplace for the many. Good, hard-working people lost their dignity. People and communities became broken. We now face the same except on a worse scale. For 30 years of my lifetime, the Tories have been in power at Westminster. We get the government our southern neighbours vote for. For me, the key turning point in moving from no to yes was the realisation that Scotland is diverging more each day from the rest of the UK. Last week's election showed that so powerfully. The 1940s social contract that bound the UK-a convergence on a common welfare state and NHS, has broken down. The NHS is being privatised in England and will now be opened up to the ravages of the USA's big pharma. The bulk of England has chosen to cut itself adrift from the EU regardless of any economic argument. It has taken me a long time, but I've realised we will never achieve a progressive and fair society within the UK. The seesaw politics of Tory and Labour governments at Westminster has resulted in several failed generations in my lifetime. For me, the only way to deliver radical and progressive change in Scotland, the kind we have seen from the Scottish Parliament, is for a new referendum on independence. Scotland is entitled legally, morally and politically to decide whether to take control of its own destiny. And for more on this story, visit the news article link.